Yeah, I think we're going to kick off. So, hello everyone, welcome. It's great that you can all be here. My name is Phil Todd, I'm Matthew's brother, and I was involved in the film in a number of different roles. We're here for three reasons, really, I think. First of all, to celebrate that the film is complete and to kind of mark that and think about what's next for the film. Secondly, I think this is also an opportunity for those who are producing the film just to say a big thank you to everyone that was involved, many of whom are here tonight, to be able to say thank you for all the hard work that you put into this project. And then thirdly, I think what's interesting about this particular project is that Nelson the Giant is not just a film. In fact, the film is sort of just the tip of the iceberg in terms of what this project is all about. So hopefully we're going to learn a little bit more about that tonight. The screening will take the structure as follows. I'm going to just do a little bit of chat where I've got some messages from people who wanted to be here but couldn't, and so they have sent some text for me to read out. And then we're going to see a couple of videos of more people that wanted to be here but couldn't, and so made little videos to express their comments. And then we will see the film. And then after the film, myself and Matthew, who was the director of the film, and also Kerry, who is one of the stars of the film, and Sergio, who is also one of the stars of the film, are going to come up and we'll have a Q&A about the making of the film and also what's next for the project and any other things that we want to talk about. So also, if you have questions, please do have to keep them in your mind, and then we'll have a chance to, if you want to ask questions at that point, that would be great. So, I've got some messages then for people that those who were involved in the film will probably know who these people are, and it's nice to hear from them. So Andre, who is one of the young stars of the film, says, "Hello everyone, my name is Andre Elisive, and I played Jan in Nelson the Giant. I sincerely apologise that I could not be here tonight. I've got a lot of memories about the filming, and I'm very happy that I was involved in this project. I would like to thank Matthew Todd, the director of this film, for choosing me to play Jan. It was an unforgettable experience for me, especially the filming in the medieval village. And I'm not going to lie, I missed the fun we had behind the scenes and Iron Brew. Many thanks to all the crew and my fellow actors, Sergio, Jonah, and Olivia. And most of all, thank you, Sandy Gemmell, for creating Nelson the Giant. Enjoy the screening." So that was Andre's message. Elliot, who was the director of photography on the film, said, "Hello team. It feels like yesterday that we were knee-deep in the realm of fantasy. I'd just like to say thank you to all the cast and crew for making the project what it is. It was a pleasure working with all of you and a dream come true for me. I've always wanted to shoot fantasy genre films. Even luckier to be able to tell a story with the strong message that it has. Alas, the stars did not align, meaning I couldn't be with you tonight. I hope you all enjoy the film and that our paths cross in the near future. All the best, Elliot." Cormac, who is a singer who is singing the credits song on the film, says, "I hope that everyone has a wonderful time this evening. I'm so sorry that school commitments have meant that I've not been able to come in person, and a very big virtual hello to everyone that is here tonight. Nelson the Giant is a fantastic project and one that I'm very proud to have been part of. Back at the beginning of 2023, my boy treble soprano voice had started to change, and I was getting more and more nervous about doing any singing that anyone, except me and my teacher, would actually hear. It's quite a complicated time for any boy when their speaking voice and their singing voice starts to change, and I'm so grateful to Matthew and the team for still inviting me to sing and sticking with me, even when some of the higher notes got a bit more challenging, and I was still waiting for the lower notes to work properly. It's been my privilege to be part of such a special film that carries such an important message for children, young people, and adults too. Thank you for this opportunity. And again, I'm sorry I couldn't come tonight." So that's Cormac. Murdo, who many of you will not have met, but he did the colour grading on the film, so we'll see his work tonight, sends the following message. "Hello from Budapest. I'm really sorry I couldn't be with you all for the cast and crew screening, but I'm sure it will be a fantastic evening." He's then written some Hungarian, which I'm going to attempt. "Sok sikert es minden jót." No idea what that means. I hope I didn't insult anyone. In fact, yeah. Okay, so then finally we have a message from Sandy. Now Sandy is here, this evening, but she requested that this message be read out on her behalf. So Sandy writes this. In 2000, a Canadian high school student died by suicide due to bullying. The subsequent documentary that aired on television combining statistics on the increasing rate of youth suicide as a result of bullying saddened me greatly. The tragic story resonated with me deeply, for as a first-generation Canadian who struggled with crippling shyness and social anxiety from a young age, I knew exactly how it felt to not fit in with my peers. As soon as the television documentary ended, I sat at my piano and my emotions poured out into a song I titled Far Across the Playground. I recorded a demo and delivered it to an elementary school in my community. I hoped that a teacher would soon take the time to listen to my song and find it as useful a tool to teach students about the importance of kindness, compassion, and friendship. It was a very exciting moment when I received a call from the school's music teacher requesting the use of my song in an upcoming school concert. The evening's event was most enlightening as I learned the true impact that empathy-based songs can have on the minds and hearts of children. In the days that followed, as I reflected on the children's performance of Far Across the Playground, I felt an overwhelming sense to continue writing songs that would help to raise awareness on the growing problem of bullying. Shortly thereafter, the story of Nelson the Giant was written, and I embarked on a remarkable journey to promote social harmony for children through the power of music. Through 2 decades and a global pandemic, the story song of Nelson the Giant has stood the test of time. Its evidence-based empathy approach to tackling social injustices has resonated with children, youth, and adults all around the world and from all walks of life. I found great inspiration from the people I've met throughout the years. Deeply meaningful discussions compelled me to continue exploring creative ways to deliver Nelson's message of compassion. I can say without a doubt, God does answer prayers, and he is obviously also very good at navigating social media, because he sent me Matthew Todd. And with that, we will watch the 2 videos and then the film. Enjoy.
Hi guys, I'm so sorry I couldn't join you. I'm currently in Spain, sailing to Gibraltar, so I'm very upset that I couldn't make it there. I hope you guys have a very fun time watching the film, and I miss you guys so much. I loved filming with you, it was so fun, and I loved going to the village, wearing all those cool clothes. It was so fun. So I hope you guys enjoy all of the screening, and I'm sorry I couldn't make it. Bye!
Hi, I'm Carla from Spain. I was so happy in Scotland. I can't wait to see the screening. Emilio, Cristiana.
Great. Fab. So as I say, we're going to throw it open, so if people have questions, then there will be a chance to ask them. So do be thinking about that now. But I'll start by asking you a few questions just to kick things off. So Matthew, let's start with you. Can you take us right back to the beginning and tell us how did this start, the whole film project?
I suppose the very beginning was just conversations with Sandy about just online about the common interests that we had, and I think what we connected over was the idea that empathy is the key, and most of our interventions when it comes to bullying prevention specifically are ineffective and can sometimes be counterproductive. But if you really want to get to the root of it, there's not really any other alternative than actually feeling empathy for the people that you would otherwise be bullying. So that's how it started, really, is conversations with Sandy.
Great. And so take us on to the next stage then. How did it develop then to actually get to the point of being able to make the film?
Well, I'll say I'm sure Sandy wouldn't mind me saying so. I was quite hard nosed at the beginning in terms of I appreciate your enthusiasm. However, making a movie is very difficult. It's very expensive. Most people that think that they want to make a movie fail, dramatically. And to her credit, she sort of took on every single point and jumped through every hurdle and raised ridiculous amounts of money, and owing largely to her community as well, and how much they got behind this. And as you can see, something happened in the end.
So, lastly, before I move on to somebody else, what's your reactions then, having seen it fresh? What do you feel?
It's mixed. Part of it is it's very kind of emotional, I'd say, seeing it a year on, because you know the people so well, and you know what went into making every one of those frames, and hearing the sound with these amazing speakers, and the soundtrack and even the sound effects and everything is like, it does feel like you're seeing it for the first time, even though you've seen it lots of times. But it's also, because you've seen it so many times, you lose that perspective and you're like, I just don't know whether this hits or not anymore. Right. And that's why a screening is kind of very scary in a way, because you put it out to people and you're like, it might be naff, I don't know. Because I lost perspective a long time ago. Made it the best I can make it, but that's...
Okay, well, maybe we'll get some reactions from the audience in a minute to see whether they thought it was naff or not. Yeah. But Kerry, what's your same question? What's your reactions having seen the film there?
Yeah, absolutely love it. I was really excited to see the animation, because that's one thing that hasn't, that was kind of like the final finishing touches. And then when you've got the composer on that as well, and the music, it just brings it all together, and just it was actually quite teary-eyed at the end there because it's quite emotional. It's just lovely. And the performances of the kids and everything were just, obviously I was there on the day working with them, but I wasn't a part of the Duncarron village scenes, so to actually see what the kids did as well, and because those some of the scenes I came in halfway through, so the relationships and performances had already been established, which was lovely. So my job was very easy then, just coming into that, because the kids had already decided who these characters were, and that it was I could just come in and actually see them in character. So it was lovely. Yeah.
And what sort of preparation did you put in for playing Mrs Peterson?
I was speaking to Sandy about this as well. I went through bullying when I was a child and everything, and you understand, and just even if it's not, that word, right, if it's just feeling as if you don't quite belong, or you're on the outs of a group or something, it can be such a hurtful thing to go through as well, and every child I think goes through it in some way. But I remember speaking to one of my teachers when I was younger, and they said to me, you realise that this has nothing to do with you, right? And that really stuck with me, and I think they helped me more than they thought they did in that time, and even though it was an adult conversation, they were trying to speak to me on my level and everything, so I think there was a little bit of element of putting that into it, where it's also as a, I don't know, Miss Honey Matilda kind of vibe.
Yeah, definitely. I was getting that. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And what does it, you're an actress, you've done plenty of things, how does it feel when you see yourself on screen, especially on a big screen?
Oh god, but you just have to get on with it. There's other things to enjoy in the film.
Okay, great. Well, thank you very much. I thought you came across brilliantly in that. So Sergio, also one of the stars of the film, can you tell us, how did you first get involved in the project?
Pues mi primera involucración fue cuando Matt me pidió hacer el casting para el papel de Matt, de James, y yo vi que era una gran oportunidad y lo hice encantado.
Okay.
So Sergio got involved with the film, and Matt asked him to play the role of James, and he thought that was a great opportunity to take part in the film, so he was really excited to take part.
Great. And can you tell us then, what was it like, the experience of actually making the film? What was that like?
I think for me is like it because I could. Ay, one second.
¿Quieres hacerlo en español?
Yeah.
Si quieres.
Go for it. Whichever language you want.
No, you're fine.
Eh, para mí fue muy bonito porque pude mejorar mi nivel de inglés y me divertí mucho con mis compañeros.
It was a great opportunity because Sergio had the chance to practice his English a little bit, and he got on really well with his other friends who were acting as well.
Yeah, great. And then for you, same question I asked these guys. What was your reaction seeing the film then? What did you think of it?
Para mí es un cortometraje muy bonito en el que ayuda a que no se excluyan a las personas que tienen algún problema para relacionarse o expresarse.
It was a really beautiful film, and it just helps us to think about including people and not excluding those who might feel on the outside.
Brilliant. Yeah, thank you very much. Okay, great. Well, we've heard a little bit from the panel, I guess. Any questions from you guys, or comments, things you want to sort of chip in, having seen the film, or any specific questions at this point? Yes.
Obviously being part of it from the beginning to now, with the music, the animation, just the whole setup, for me it was really emotional. Like I felt like I wanted to cry towards the end.
Right.
Did you feel like everyone could go cry? You feel like you did feel it, and you know, like if you've been through bullying or you've got children, you can feel it, and just it all comes together with the music and the soundtrack and all the little bits together. Just goosebumps. It feels like you're part of it because you can understand it, and like empathy is beyond. I always talk about empathy. It's massive. If you have empathy, you can literally help anyone. As long as you can feel, you can help someone. Yeah, it's very special.
Great.
So well done to everyone involved.
Thank you. That's great. Feedback. Yeah. Was there another one on the back? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is a great film, and I think it's got a lot of empathy, a lot of outreach, got a lot of people bonding. Do you think it's a sort of film you could apply in schools, or because in schools you get a lot of challenges these days? I think a film like this is really much about bringing a lot of benefit to school life. I don't know if that's something that...
Yeah, well, so Matthew, do you want to talk a little bit about what's the wider Nelson the Giant project? I mean, we've got Sandy here. I feel like she's the one really that knows all of that. But
Talk and Sandy can jump in when I'm getting it wrong. But well, as you heard at the beginning when Phil read out Sandy's comments, it was it's obviously been something that she's been working on for a long time. Yeah, there's really that idea of tackling bullying through empathy. I think I've heard it described as a gentle approach, sometimes. So in practical terms, Sandy has done lots of stuff in schools, and she has like an activity books, activity sheets and things that she takes in and speaks to the children about it. She's got a massive big shoe that she takes in and says, encourages, like, what would it be like? Put your imagine yourself in Nelson's shoes, and then it's a joke, it's a big shoe, and stuff. So things like that. But it's based on it's probably not been made clear yet. So it's based on a song that Sandy wrote, which was called Nelson the Giant, which is about effectively what you see happening in the animation. So it's sort of inspired by that, and then the screenplay was written by me around that. But you hear when Mrs Peterson is speaking that poem, that's words from the Nelson the Giant song. So that's kind of the wider project. But I think what you'd probably hear from Sandy and her kind of comrades in arms with this project is that this is kind of the beginning, and very much hoping to bring it to schools, to have as wide a reach as possible. There's lots of plans in the pipeline about that. Exactly how we go about that is still to be decided and to be discussed, but there's certainly lots of things kind of being discussed, and there's already a pretty big following, if you like, that are quite excited to see this film. So I hope you feel very honoured that you're the first people ever to see it. But mostly back in Canada, not very many people in Scotland. Yet. Great. Yeah. Any other questions?
Can we get it?
Can you?
Well,
yes.
So I'm going to the school on Monday in a local primary school.
Right.
Could I offer that to them as something else to building?
Goodness, boy, that's out of my pay grade to be able to answer that question. Let's have a chat with Sandy afterwards and see what we can do.
Yeah, well, I asked Sandy to come prepared to answer that question because I said people would want to know. So I think the answer is to speak to Sandy afterwards, and she'll tell you what the situation with the release is. Any other comments or questions?
I had a comment, just a feedback thing. Seeing it for the first time, and where Kerry's opening the book and the music swelling, just very spine chilling. That's really cool.
Yeah, that's the best bit. It's like I don't know, like a storytelling kind of like another like a Disney movie. The book comes out, so the glitter, gold. It's just a moment. It could be like your heading. That's the moment. This is me. Yeah. It's really special.
Well, shout out to Laurie Todd, who can't be here today, and also didn't get a message in, but he made all the props. Another brother. There are many brothers.
Talented family.
Great. Well, we don't need to sort of like drag it on if there's no other questions or comments people want to hear. But I'm curious to know, just for you guys, what's next? Is there anything that like you're working on that you're excited about that you want to share with us at this point as well? It's good to sort of to get a sense of what else is happening out there. So, Kerry?
Just it was funny what Matthew was saying just about working on films and just the whole process, and yeah, it's a process. I think that's the only thing that you can say about it. It's I'm doing one of my films right now as well. It's going to be the first film out of my company, and it's just such hard work. But if you cast well and you have a really strong crew, and you go into it as prepared as you can, by knowing that there will be things that come up even while you're filming, then it's just a fun process. And that's what I said to my crew before we started. I said, guys, it's very, very important to me that we all have fun. We're all here to work very hard, but I want us all to have fun. And he said, great.
Yeah. Great. Sergio, have you got anything else coming up?
No, in design, no.
Okay. Are you would you like to do more acting in the future?
Yes, yo espero que sí.
You think so?
Great. Well, you came across well on there, so I think we need to keep pursuing that. Matthew, what's next for Nelson the Giant, from your perspective, but also for yourself?
Well, if you promise not to tell anybody, we are working on a tiny little sequel that will just give you a little bit more insight into what happens to James afterwards. So that might be something you'd be interested to see at some point, but that's going to be down to other people to decide how and when that will be released. It might be behind a paywall or something if we try and, use something like that. But again, not up to me. But there's that, and that's pretty much done. There's probably a lot more. This is our cast and crew screening. There are probably some more kind of official screenings that would be open to the public and so on to come, particularly in Canada, I'm guessing, again, where there's lots of people that are keen to see this. Beyond that, just it's really, as I said before, it's kind of an open book really, but we're very much viewing this as the beginning. So anything could happen from here, I think.
Great. Well, on that note, then, I think all that remains to be said is a big thank you to, all the cast and crew, everyone that was involved in actually making this thing happen. Thank you to Sandy for initiating the project and being the driving force to see it through to this stage. Thank you to the CCA as well for hosting us for this screening. It was great to see it on a lovely screen like that with some really good speakers and sound system. And thank you to you guys all for coming and just supporting this project, and for those that were involved, again, for doing your part to make it happen as well. So thank you and good night.
Thanks.